I know, you're right, and I always wanted to tell you, but I can only remember a little, and the rest is just gone.
Dad, right? You mind if I borrow Mommy for a little bit? Why don't you stand there? Do something!
Ethan, help!
For me, Resident Evil 7 remains one of the most terrifying and intriguing titles in the entire saga developed and told by Capcom. One of those horror video game journeys that leave a mark, not only telling a story that is both tragic and horrifying, but also immersing you in it until the very end. In the previous video, I talked about Jack Baker, telling you his tragic story, who he once was and how he changed, transforming into the monster that tormented Ethan through a good part of Resident Evil 7. Today, however, I want to shift the focus to the protagonists of this story and their journey through the swamps of Dulvey, Louisiana, what they felt, the emotions they experienced, and the fear that soon turned into courage against the threat of Eveline. Today, we will talk about the Winters couple and their terrifying journey into the Nightmare within the walls of the Baker family. Without further ado, let's begin.
Ethan, if you find this, I know I can't expect anything from you. Not after what happened, after what I did. But I just want you to know that wasn't me. I don't know what happened. There's so much that you need to know.
There you are! You gave us quite a scare, young lady.
Presumed dead by her superiors, Mia has been a prisoner of the malevolent Eveline for 3 long years. What appears to be just a little girl is in reality a biological weapon engineered to infect and control people through a powerful mutagenic agent. But Mia's captivity is not just physical, it is psychological, mental. Eveline does not simply restrain her, she breaks her, erodes her will, and reshapes her into something she no longer recognizes. Time loses meaning inside the Baker house. Mia lives in constant fear, always under Eveline's watchful gaze. The girl craves a family, but her twisted concept of love is nothing more than an obsession, a sick need for dominance. Every attempt Mia makes to resist is met with unbearable pain. Her mind clouds, her thoughts scatter, and her sense of self crumbles. The fear never fades, it only deepens. Her memories become fractured. At times, she remembers who she was. At others, she drowns in a haze of confusion, slipping between moments of clarity and violent blackouts. She knows she has changed. She feels the infection inside her, creeping through her body like an invisible chain binding her to Eveline's will. Even when she believes she is thinking for herself, Eveline's whispers are always there, insidious, inescapable. The voices are relentless, a constant reminder that she is no longer in control of her own mind. Sometimes, Eveline appears out of nowhere, staring at her with those soulless eyes, whispering twisted lullabies that send shivers down her spine. Mia's sense of time becomes warped. The days blend into each other, marked only by Eveline's unpredictable moods. Some days, Eveline is almost affectionate, clinging to Mia like a needy child. Other times, she is cruel, punishing Mia for perceived slights with waves of unbearable agony. Mia no longer knows what it means to be herself. She is exhausted, drained, a hollow shell moving through a nightmare that never ends. Mia Winters, once a woman full of love and hope, is now a shadow of herself. What she has experienced over the past years is beyond comprehension, a psychological and emotional war waged by the very thing she feared the most, the manipulation of Eveline. The once simple, warm life she shared with Ethan is now a twisted memory, buried beneath layers of fear, trauma, and the insidious whispers of a being far more powerful than she could ever imagine.
Watch it.
What? Why?
You need to remember, so we can be a family.
The first moments after Mia is found on the Baker estate show her in a confused and anxious state. She's reluctant to speak, visibly disturbed by the presence of Ethan, but still yearning to be close to him. At this point, Mia is struggling against an invisible force controlling her. Mia's descent into this nightmare begins the moment she steps into the Baker estate. She's trapped, not just physically, but mentally. Eveline, the entity manipulating her, had already begun to exert control. But how did Mia experience this? How did she cope with her psychological breakdown? It's hard to imagine the terror Mia must have felt, a woman whose sense of reality was being violently stripped away, piece by piece. At first, Eveline's presence might have seemed benign, perhaps a distant memory of a child's innocent need for love. But that was far from the truth. The reality was crueler. Mia was being manipulated, her mind twisted by Eveline's strange and powerful influence.
Yes, Eveline. I remember.
Can we be a family like before?
No, Evie. We can't be a family. We were never a family. We will never be a family.
Then I don't need you anymore.
In those moments, Mia's mind was at war. Her body controlled by the infection, her thoughts fractured by the influence of Eveline. The message to Ethan, "Stay away," wasn't just a plea for safety. It was a cry for help, a desperate attempt to protect the one person she still loved. But deep down, she knew that the infection was too far-reaching. The entity that controlled her wasn't just trying to hurt her. It wanted to consume everything she held dear. The infection didn't just manifest physically. For Mia, it was a psychological torment, hallucinations, paranoia. It was a constant mental battle. Was she losing her mind? Was she really seeing these horrific things? Or was her mind simply playing tricks on her? Every new image, every eerie whisper only deepened her anxiety, pushing her closer to a breaking point. Eveline's control over her mind wasn't just about keeping her subdued. It was about breaking her will to fight. The videotape, a device of cruel manipulation, is another attempt by Eveline to pull Mia back into the fold of her so-called family. At first, it might have seemed like a simple attempt to reach out. But to Mia, it was a reminder of her fractured state, of the person she used to be, and the horror she could never forget. How does one hold on to their sense of self when everything around them is designed to erase it? Mia and the team are now aboard the ship. The tension is palpable as they encounter more infected individuals. Mia, now deeply affected by the infection, struggles to keep her composure. Eveline's presence grows stronger, and Mia becomes more visibly broken. The ship, a place that should have been a safe haven, but was instead another trap. It's where Mia finally faces the complete unraveling of her sanity. It's not just the threat of death. It's the overwhelming sense of control that Eveline exerts over her mind. She is no longer in control. She knows that. And with each passing moment, Mia feels a suffocating weight of that realization. The scene intensifies as Eveline manipulates the situation further, and Mia's colleague is killed violently by Eveline after a confrontation. The death of her colleague is a turning point, not just a loss of a companion, but another moment that fractures Mia's psyche. The horror she experiences, the guilt, the helplessness, is something far more profound than simply witnessing death. It's the recognition that even those she once knew could fall victim to Eveline's control. Mia can't save anyone, least of all herself. Mia is thrown into the water as the ship explodes. Her body is battered, and she slips into unconsciousness. And then, the explosion. The fall into the ocean, Mia loses consciousness, her mind slipping into oblivion. What followed was likely a blur pain, confusion, a violent shift into the unknown. The impact of the explosion, the chaos, it's all too much for her body and mind to endure. In that moment, she's no longer just trying to survive the infection. She's battling a total loss of identity, a disconnection from everything she once knew.
Ethan? Thank you.
Who the hell else was I gonna choose?
Ethan.
Mia, I know you've been through a lot. We need to talk. You had something to do with all this, didn't you? Look, I just want to know the truth.
Ethan, I honestly don't remember.
Try. Is that the boat? How the fuck did that get here? Oh, you're okay. What the hell was that? What the fuck? What is that? What is that?
Mia regains consciousness, washed ashore. She struggles to recall everything that has happened, but memories blur together, only fragments remain. Mia awakes on the shore, confused. The trauma, the physical injury, the psychological breakdown, it's all overwhelming. She doesn't remember everything. Some moments are gone entirely. Some memories slip away like sand between her fingers. The mind, in its desire to protect itself, has locked away pieces of her experience. But can she ever truly escape the horrors of the past? Will she ever regain what was lost? Mia Winters will never be the same. She may have escaped Eveline's clutches, but the trauma of what she endured will follow her forever. The infection, the manipulation, the loss. It's not something that can be simply erased. Mia's mind was pushed to its limits. And while she may be free, the cost was great. The family she once knew, the life she once had, will never be the same. And for Mia, survival isn't just about staying alive. It's about trying to remember who she was, even when the person she used to be seems like a distant memory. This approach analyzes Mia's psychological state in response to the traumatic events in Resident Evil 7. We have explored her stress, fear, and psychological collapse under Eveline's control, providing insight into how these experiences may have mentally and emotionally shattered her.
Zoe? Zoe,
Not now. We don't have the time. Do you have both ingredients?
Right here. There should be enough, right?
If we make them fast enough, my father and Lucas aren't far away.
He's coming. Daddy's coming.
Good. There's enough for two.
So after we make the serum, what's next?
There's a boat outside. We'll take it through the swamp. But neither of us will get very far without the serum. Hey, one of those is mine.
Zoe! Get your ass back to the house! I will deal with you later!
Ethan Winters, a man once leading a simple, unremarkable life, has found himself thrust into an unimaginable nightmare. A man searching for his wife Mia, whose disappearance has led him to the eerie, desolate mansion of the Baker family. His heart races not just from the horror he will soon face, but from the aching uncertainty that his wife is still alive. For Ethan, this is no longer just a search. It is a journey into the unknown, a descent into madness. At first, Ethan is understandably overwhelmed. Nothing can prepare a person for the sheer terror he encounters in the Baker home. The sights, the bodies, the mutilated corpses, the unnatural happenings are enough to make anyone question their sanity. But Ethan is not a soldier. He is not a trained fighter. He is a man who, until now, lived an ordinary life. Yet, in this moment, he is forced to confront the unimaginable. The terror of the unknown, the shock of violence, the violation of all that is safe. Ethan's psychological armor is cracking. It's here that we start to see the true strength of Ethan's character. Though the house is falling apart, its horrors pushing him to the edge, there's something driving him. His love for Mia is unwavering, and it's that love that propels him forward through the madness. For a man like Ethan, the fear isn't enough to stop him. It's the hope of saving the one person he cares about that keeps him moving. When Ethan comes face to face with Jack Baker for the first time, the weight of the situation becomes undeniable. The Baker family isn't just a threat, it is a force of madness, a symbol of all the horrors Ethan will have to face. The physical pain is one thing, but it's the psychological torment that slowly starts to break him down. Jack's taunting words, his relentless pursuit, his casual cruelty. They chip away at Ethan's sense of reality. Every step he takes, every wound he endures, it all becomes a reminder that Ethan's survival is a game of endurance, a test of will.
Leave me alone! No, don't! No! No, no, no!
You.
Why does everyone hate me?
It hurts! It hurts! It hurts! Damn you! Damn you all to hell!
Each encounter with the family forces Ethan to redefine his sense of reality. Jack's relentless pursuit makes him question whether escape is even possible. Marguerite's grotesque transformations force him to confront the inhuman nature of his captors. Lucas, with his cruel traps and games, strips him of any illusion of control. Every step forward is met with an escalating sense of powerlessness, pushing Ethan closer to the edge. Mia is both the reason Ethan came and the source of his suffering. She swings between victim and monster, her moments of lucidity fleeting. Ethan is trapped in an emotional limbo. Does he still trust her? Does he still love her? Or is she already lost? Her erratic behavior plays into Ethan's growing paranoia. When she attacks, it is sudden and brutal. When she pleads, it is desperate and haunting. The infection has taken her, but how much of her is left? This internal struggle culminates in the choice he must make: save Mia or Zoe. This decision, though seemingly moral, is symbolic of his own survival.
Playtime's over.
Eveline is more than a villain. She is the embodiment of control and manipulation. Throughout the game, her influence manifests in subtle ways, from hallucinations to whispers, gradually eroding Ethan's perception of reality. By the time he reaches the ship, the full extent of her power is clear. She doesn't just infect the body, she invades the mind. Ethan, now stripped of everything. It is here that he sees the truth. Mia was never simply missing. She was part of something far worse. The betrayal runs deeper than he ever imagined. When Eveline forces Mia to attack him one final time, Ethan is faced with the painful realization: to survive, he must let go of who he used to be. By the time Ethan faces Eveline, he is no longer the same man who arrived in Louisiana. The fear that once held him back has turned into something else resolve. The horror has hardened him, stripped him of hesitation. The ordinary man who came to rescue his wife has been reforged into something else, a survivor. The final moments in the salt mines are not just a battle against Eveline, but a battle against everything she represents. She wants family, control, submission. Ethan, despite everything, refuses. And when he pulls the trigger on the serum, it is not just the end of Eveline. It is the end of his own torment. As the helicopter takes him away, Ethan should feel relief. But what remains? He has survived, but at what cost? The horrors of the Baker estate will never leave him. The wounds, both physical and psychological, run too deep. Mia may be alive, but can things ever go back to the way they were? The scars are too fresh, the memories too vivid. Ethan Winters entered the Nightmare as an ordinary man. He left it as something else. A survivor, yes, but also a man who has stared into the abyss and knows that it still stares back at him. To close the analysis effectively, let's reflect on the lasting impact these events have on Ethan and Mia. Here's my conclusion. Though Ethan and Mia escaped the Nightmare, neither will ever truly be free. The horrors of the Baker estate leave wounds that time cannot heal. Ethan, once an ordinary man, has been reshaped by fear, loss, and survival. The man who sought to save his wife now carries the weight of everything he endured: the pain, the violence, the moments he was forced to question his own humanity. Mia, despite being freed from Eveline's grasp, is not the woman she once was. The infection may be gone, but its echoes remain. Her fractured memories, the haunting guilt, the lingering uncertainty of how much of her was lost in that shipwreck. Can she and Ethan truly rebuild their lives? Or will the trauma fester in the silence between them, unspoken but ever present? The game may end, but for them, the nightmare never truly fades. They may have survived Resident Evil 7, but survival does not mean escape. Some horrors stay with you forever. I wanted to make this video because I have a special connection to this game. Besides giving me goosebumps, it fueled my passion for what I've been trying to turn into my job for the past couple of years: becoming an independent developer. But that's a story for another time. Resident Evil 7 is a journey that goes far beyond just a game. It's a title that's not easily forgotten and leaves a lasting impression. But now, I want to hear your opinion. Have you ever thought about how Ethan and Mia truly experienced this nightmare? And do you think Resident Evil Village gave us all the answers we were looking for? Let me know in the comments, and as always, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.
Ethan?
Mia, you made it. I'm glad.
Did I?
They say that when one door closes, another opens. Well, a door closed tonight. And what a long night it was. But not just for me. Mia and I weren't the only victims here. So were the Bakers. It was that thing, Eveline, who made them that way. But now Eveline's dead. And these guys are here to clean up the mess. I had just come to terms with losing Mia. But now she's back and wants to start over. Put all this behind us. Maybe this is where the next door opens.